All right, a lot of students are going to get to this point where they are in the passenger base, which is different than the passenger section. This actually goes inside of the passenger base all the way at the top here. So it actually drops down into the passenger base up here, or the passenger section. So most people get really confused on how to make this star, and it is kind of a challenging piece because you got to do a lot of support geometry for it, so a lot of construction lines for it. But it really comes down to 4 shapes that you're going to make for your construction, and then you've got to connect those shapes together with just straight lines to get the rest of it. And so if we look really closely here in our drawing, we can see that there's a lot of dotted lines, and those dotted lines are your construction lines. And I'm not going to go over how to make the first part of the base because that's just a rectangle and with some fillets on the edges. And if you've gotten this far in the class, you should be able to make that rectangle. And really, you should be able to make the circle and the square. And so the challenging part is going to be the star. So I'm going to get you started on the process for making that star. So first of all, you're going to start a new sketch on top. And you could do it in your original sketch. That's totally fine too. I like to do this one as a separate sketch. And we're going to start off with 2 circles. Okay, so we're going to start off with 2 circles here. And I'm going to actually make them not concentric, so that we can use our constraint tool, the concentric constraint tool, and then use that to make them concentric. And then we can dimension that to be the right distance from the bottom of the part, which is going to be 0.363. And then from the edge of the part is going to be 0.488. All right, so now that we've got that kind of placed, we're going to turn these into construction lines. And so we're going to work for the majority of this video, we're going to work with construction lines. And the way we do that is you got to click out of your dimensioning tool, and you just right click on the line, and you say, I want it to be a construction line. And we're going to right click on that line. It's going to be a construction line. And now that it's dotted, that means it's not going to be able to be extruded. So it's not going to be included in the star extrusion after we put all that geometry in there. So now we can put some dimensions on it. So that outer ring is going to have a dimension of 0.605. And the inner one has a dimension of 0.412. And I'm just getting that from here and here. You can see that they're going all the way across. If your circles are way too large, that probably means you clicked on the center and clicked on the edge and put a radius in there. And a radius is half of the diameter. So if you just select the outside of the circle, then you can just put straight the diameter in, which is what this measurement is in. And we know that because that's going all the way across the circle. Okay. Now here comes the new tool, and we're going to use what's called a circumscribed polygon, okay? And that just means that it matches up perfectly with the circle on the outside or the inside. And we're going to create a pentagon, and a pentagon has 5 points on it, right? And it's got 5 points on it, just like a star has 5 points on it. And so we're going to start off here, and we're going to click on the center of our circle, and it defaults to a hexagon, and we can change that after we do our second click. And we're going to constrain it to that outside circle. And now that we've got that constrained to the outside of the circle, then as we move our mouse up and down, it will change the number of sides that's in the shape. And you can see as you get more sides, that approaches the shape of a circle, right? Okay, so we want a pentagon, and so that's got 5 sides, and we're going to select it again. We're going to do the same shape again, only this time we're going to go up. Okay, and we want 5 sides. And so you can see that it actually didn't put them in as construction lines. We still want these to be construction lines. So I'm just gonna highlight everything again. Let's see if it'll let me make it construction lines. Yeah, construction, great. So now everything's construction. Okay. So once we have all our construction lines in, we actually have all the geometry that we need for making it the star. And so you bring your line back in and you connect each inside point with the outside point. Okay, and so now after we get that done, each of the outside points of the pentagon, of the outside pentagon, are the points of the outside points of the star, and each of the points of the inside pentagon are the inside points of the star. And we're just matching these up. All right, and so that's your star is done, and all that's left to do now is extrude it. And we're going to do a remove, and there's the star. That's it. Okay. Good luck on the rest of your shapes.